Welcome to Thrive Now, where we bring you motivation, inspiration, and education to grow yourself and grow your business. Well, welcome guys to another episode of Thrive Now. I'm your host, Ryder Stars, founder and CEO of ThriveCourses, and today it's a special day because I don't have one, but I have two incredible people, Sheri Fink and Derek Taylor Kent.
Right? You got it.
I nailed it. Awesome. So actually, Sheri, I've known her for years, and they just recently got married. Woo! Congratulations. So I just picked them up in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful day, and I need to take a deep breath because it's going to be a great day and great interview. So we're going to, what would be the area where we're going?
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive,
like
yeah,
the famous
mountains.
song.
Yeah.
Exactly, the mountains. So hopefully we get a nice view. So we're going to get it going. And, well, introduce yourselves, guys. Sheri, I'll let you, of course, start with you, who you are, and how did you get to do what you do, being a writer and an entrepreneur and a speaker and all the cool things that you do.
Oh my gosh. Well, like most things in life, it happens serendipitously. The most wonderful things, I think, often take us by surprise. I was in the corporate world for a long time, and I was climbing that ladder, and maybe you can relate to this. I got up to the top of the ladder and realized it was against the wrong wall. And so I was doing a lot of soul searching, because my identity had been wrapped around being this marketing executive. You know, who was I if I wasn't this person that I worked so hard to become? And during that time, I had this gift of adversity where a woman in my office was bullying me, and I didn't know what to do about it. And I was just trying to deal with it and trying all these things, and nothing was working. And so I was driving to work one day after trying everything I could think of, and I just had this moment of complete surrender where I was like, help me, I will do anything to make this situation better. And in that moment, when I was finally not thinking too hard about it, an idea flowed to me, and it was about a rose that grew up in a weed bed, and because she was different, thought that she was the weed. And then the story wrote through me in the car, much like we're driving today. Luckily, I had a lot of stoplights on the way to work. And so I wrote that story down on the back of an envelope with a mini golf pencil in my car, unexpectedly. And nothing like that had ever happened to me before. Put it away for more than a year, but I made an important decision that day that 1 year from that day, I would either be working in a different company, doing something different, or working for myself. And that was the one I really wanted, but was too afraid to admit to anybody in case I failed. But luckily, serendipity came again. A year later, after I left that company, I attended a Breakthrough to Success conference with Jack Canfield.
Is that the year we met?
That is the year we met, yes.
Wow.
And so while I was there, one of the very first conversations that I had was with this woman from Canada who I'd never met before. And she asked me what I write. And I said, oh, I'm not really a writer. I wrote business and marketing stuff. And she's like, no, you've got more. And I remembered this little story that had been in a drawer for more than a year.
Okay.
And I told her the story, and she said, I just got goosebumps. You have to do something with that because my grandchildren need that message.
Wow.
And that's when I thought, maybe it's a children's book. And Jack
Why
does
children's book? Why did you feel that it was that's like your? Why not like for? I guess why not for adults?
Because she said her grandchildren needed the message.
The message, okay.
And I thought maybe it's for kids. And I was so excited about that thought and also terrified. But I thought, if I could help kids, if I could even just plant a seed that would enable them to deal with adversity better than I was able to deal with it would be totally worth it. All the work, all the struggle, all the fear. Like it was so much more my passion for helping kids and getting them to believe in themselves and to make great choices for their lives, like, was so strong that every single day I would just jump off the entrepreneurial cliff again. And you know what happened? 1 year, so Jack does this thing called a come as you'll be party at the end of the events.
Which is one of my favorite parts.
It's so powerful because you walk through the door as if your goals for the next 5 years have already come true. And everyone plays along with you. Well, right before that, I got super brave. And I made this ridiculous magazine cover with me on it. And I couldn't, I hadn't read that story for more than a year, but I thought, oh, I'll just call it The Little Rose. And I made a little cover. I had graphics experience, so I just made a little cover in the business center of the hotel, slapped it onto a book that I brought with me.
Like right there, like on the spot, you decided
right on
to
the
do
spot.
This. Okay.
Yes, right before. I got super brave right before. And then I hid it from everybody at the party.
Why? Because you were embarrassed?
I was so embarrassed. I felt preposterous,
yeah.
you know? And even when I met Jack, like when I finally got up to him, I barely spoke to him. I was so like nervous. And I was like, can we take a picture together? And then I flashed it for the camera and I ran away. And you know what though?
Why do you think you were hiding? What was it? Just because you think it was so bold and so big?
I think I have been I have been a corporate robot for so long. And I didn't really see myself as being an artistic, creative person anymore.
Yeah.
I was as a kid, but I didn't identify that way. And
After so many years.
Oh man, I didn't know any other authors. I didn't know any other artists. So for me to kind of try on this new image, like that I didn't associate with myself, I felt like I was being fake. And you know, my whole thing is about being authentic. And I just didn't realize that all those years of wearing the corporate robot uniform had like affected me, because I've always been a pink and sparkly unicorn kind of girl. And when I was like, flashed the camera, ran away, I have that picture, and then within 1 year I had a #1 best-selling children's book called The Little Rose.
That book.
And that book, and I have my first magazine cover.
Wow.
Yes. So
I knew about the book. I don't think I knew about the magazine. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Powerful things happen when you step forward in faith and you follow your passion. Like, I think those things that are like, well, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
When it's so juicy and also so scary, but you can't stop thinking about it.
You gotta do it.
You gotta go for it.
You gotta do
because
it.
the universe is out there just waiting for you to take a step.
Yeah.
And then the magic just keeps unfolding for you. And that's what's happened for me over the past 8 years. I've just been continually stepping forward. Every single day I leap off the cliff.
And I've been enjoying watching you.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes wings form, sometimes a bridge forms, sometimes an angel catches me, sometimes I fall a little bit and then catch myself, you know? But it's an exciting way to live.
I love it. And now we're going to fast forward quite a bit, guys. So I've known Sheri now for years. Like I said, I started the show with like my circle. I've been very fortunate. I have a lot of amazing people and a lot of friends. So, and now you have this handsome guy back here. So Sheri's husband, Derek. So Derek is an author as well, kind of wild and I think cool. So Derek, so what's your story? Obviously, I don't know about you as much as I do about Sheri, so I'm kind of excited to hear. How did you become an author?
I've kind of always been a writer. I remember since I was 7 years old, I was like the weird kid in class who loved to read the dictionary during free reading time so I could learn new words that would stump my teachers. They wouldn't know what I was talking about in my stories. But I always loved making people laugh. Like I always loved humor. Like I was kind of a class clown.
Humor's good. I'm just listening.
As I grew up, I was just still really good at it, like making my friends laugh, but especially making kids laugh. So I wanted to write books that would like make kids laugh and be funny, because that's what got me to love reading, was finding books that made me laugh.
Okay.
And as I don't know if kids had that as much, the same type of hilarious books that I had when I was a kid. So I wanted to be the one to provide that for them. But I got into doing some other things. I kind of got like Sheri. I think for about after college, I was working in showbiz. I was doing kind of like agent and manager work.
In LA, Los Angeles?
Yeah, in LA. I'm born and raised. I'm an actual native.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
That's cool. Wow, that's very unusual.
It's very unusual. Yes.
Nice.
And then I tried to do acting for a long time, and screenwriting, playwriting. I went to school for playwriting.
Wow.
And I was doing that. I put up musicals. I was always doing something creative, whether it was like an improv and comedy, stand-up comedy. I always was just different outlets to make people laugh. But I always knew deep down that I was going to be a children's book writer, because I remember I became obsessed with Dr. Seuss when I was just 15 years old. I got re-obsessed.
Yeah.
I loved him when I was a little kid, and I got re-obsessed when I was 15.
Yeah.
And I started writing wild, like, lyrical stories, rhyming like Dr. Seuss did. And I was working on those for over 10 years, trying to get them published and get artwork done. My mom was an artist, so she was helping me with those. but I couldn't get them going.
What was the challenge?
Looking back on it, they weren't right. They weren't quite right. I didn't do enough research and back work to know that's kind of not where children's books were. They were very long and epic, and children's books are kind of nowadays you read them and it takes about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I was kind of basing them on Dr. Seuss books, which will take more 15, 20 minutes to read some of them. That's just not where those books were anymore. So I was having trouble finding a publisher because of that. And
how old were you when you finally got the book done and out to the world?
So what's funny is I had to pivot again, and I became obsessed with a new thing when in my mid-20s, which was Harry Potter.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, wait, that's what I need to be doing. Novels that don't need illustrations. I was relying on my mom to do all these illustrations, which she could never finish. Because I'm not an artist.
Yeah.
And so I decided to try and write stories that didn't, novels.
Uh-huh.
Those middle grade novels, those ones that made me laugh so much when I was a kid, which led to my Scary School series. So that happened. Finally got my first book deal for that. Those led me to get my first agent. And then after that, I was able to get the 3-book deal with HarperCollins for Scary School.
Oh my goodness.
When I was 30. So I started writing children's books when I was 15, and knowing that's was kind of what I was always really wanting to do. And then when I was 30, I got that book deal.
15 years,
yeah.
Basically.
Yes.
I love it, and that's the reason I keep asking those questions, because you guys watching this show, no matter what you want to do, just remind yourself that things take longer than you realize, and you should not be ashamed. It's a process. Look how many different things Derek did, and he would never be where he is today without all those experiences. Would you guys agree?
Yes, absolutely agree. And then once you start building the momentum, it gets really exciting, because you push that snowball for so long, and it's so tiny at first, but then you start rolling it, and it gets a little bit heavy, and then you start feeling it pick up its own momentum, and that's, I think, where we're at now, which is really exciting after 8 years of being in this business.
So how many books do you have now?
I have 8.
8, and how
right
about
now.
how are you?
I think I'm up to 10 with my new one, right?
18 books total.
Yes.
You're officially a power couple.
Yeah.
Which is now, how are you guys going forward now? These beautiful people changing so many lives, coming together, and he's upset back because I was driving too slow for him out. It's in Los Angeles. But I'm safe, guys. I'm safe here. I'm driving. If you listen to the podcast, we're recording this in our Tesla Model X. They're not paying us to say this. We just feel very cool to be in this kind of car.
It is very cool.
And so how are you guys moving forward now as a power couple? Both authors. First of all, is it hard that you're both authors? Is it hard?
No.
Get along,
oh my gosh. You know
No?
what? From my perspective, it makes life so much easier.
Okay.
Because finally, I have someone in my life who completely relates to every aspect of my life, like business, the writing part, the marketing part, the creativity part, the speaking part, the business side of it too. And what Derek was so unique about him is he's this amazing, brilliant, creative artist. But he also has this incredible business mindset.
Love it.
And so together, I feel like it's like we're doing the things that we love, but we're doing it in a bigger way than either of us could ever have done on our own. And that's what's so exciting.
Yeah. Sheri was the type of person I was always looking for, but very hard.
That's so sweet.
Could never find someone, because I knew what I wanted to be living, kind of the life that I'm living now with her, where we're going out every weekend and to doing different book events, and during the week we're doing stuff like school visits, and if I was me alone, then it's just, and I'd have a partner who wasn't able to share that with me, it would be very lonely, and I'm not sure, they wouldn't really be able to understand what I was doing or why I was doing it. But Sheri totally gets it, and we get to share all of that together, so we get to be together pursuing our goals, and learning from each other and helping each other.
And making a difference.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, guys, I know a lot of who watch this, and just in general in life, one of the hardest things and one of the most amazing things can happen to you is finding love. And if you knew me, if I had more time to share my story, and I know Sheri's story, and now listen to your story, what we have here in this car common is that it wasn't easy for us to find our love, the true love. I have now my wife. I'm very, very happily married, and then now you guys just recently got married. And if you're watching this, don't settle.
Yes.
Be patient. Be patient. Watching this beautiful union and this partnership, it's beautiful. So you guys, don't quit, don't give up, keep looking. You're gonna find that person, that power couple that's gonna support you and understand you, right?
That's right. That's right. Keep your standards high.
Keep your standards high. So back to where you're going. So now I know there's a lot of exciting things that are happening. What's the vision for you guys as a couple?
What we are very excited to announce very shortly, and you are the first person that we're sharing it with.
Maybe we'll be live already when we post this.
You go right here.
Okay.
We are combining forces, and we are building this incredible lifestyle brand to inspire kids globally to not only plant seeds of self-esteem, but also high achievement. And it is called Whimsical World.
Okay.
And tell us more about it, Derek.
I love it.
Yeah, I just loved Sheri's. When I met Sheri, I loved everything she was about, and her brand was the Whimsical World of Sheri Fink. And she was like, her whole message was inspiring and delighting kids of all ages while planting seeds of self-esteem. My books had a little bit, like, I always had kind of a different goal in mind. That could easily happen with my books, but I was more like, I want to make them laugh so that they love reading. Because I think kids need to find books that they can really identify with, that make them laugh, in order to create a lifelong love of reading. And I also wanted to have a little more education. Like, I have books about the solar system, and I have books that teaches kids Spanish. So I want to combine a lot of education into it. And now we combine all these things together, we're really able to hit all those different things that kids need. You know, some kids really need that emotional life lessons that Sheri's books teach, and then some kids really need help just like learning to like reading, or whatever subject they might be having trouble in, or maybe something they're really into that they want to learn more about. So I just love that our Whimsical World is going to make basically learning and emotional development fun and inspiring.
Yes. And exciting too, because we're going beyond books.
Yeah.
So that's something that's been a dream of mine for a long time, and I know Derek has wanted to do that too. We want to partner with the right companies to offer apparel and merchandise and toys and games and things that kids can interact with these characters beyond the book. And then they can take those stories and grow and create their own with our characters.
And also create experiences too.
So tell me more about the experience, because I'm all about experiences. So tell me more about.
So we are creating an incredible live experience for kids and families that basically makes reading as exciting as a rock concert.
I love it.
Yes.
Tell me more. So that's fascinating. How are you gonna?
So, well, it's in the works.
Okay.
So I don't want to give away too much.
Okay, but that's exciting.
But let's just say that it'll be a once-in-a-lifetime experience for every family that chooses to attend, where your kids will fall in love with reading and fall in love with themselves in the best way possible, and aspire to dream a bigger dream and have steps to go after it.
You know, I admire so much what you guys do, because people are now so concerned about the youth. Oh, the games, the violent games, and kids are not reading anymore. Do we go left or right? By
Keep
the way?
going straight.
Keep going straight. Okay.
Straight for a while.
And you guys are changing the world. You're helping these kids not to forget the importance of reading and imagining and dreaming, and that is magical. I love it.
Thank you.
I believe in you so much. Wow, the view, guys. We're gonna stop somewhere. We're gonna show you the view, but
there's gonna be a few turnouts where you can stop.
Okay, so just let me know where you want to pull over, and we'll stop and show you the view, guys. So I believe in your vision. I believe in you, and this is my first time actually meeting you, Derek, and I can tell that you have a heart of gold, and I can see how you guys complement each other. So what strengths do you think you each bring to the table that makes this so juicy and so powerful? This partnership. So Sheri, I will let you share about him. What does he bring that you finding so?
There's so many things.
Okay,
so
pick like two.
I would say the top two things. I'd say his passion.
Okay.
His passion for living an amazing, full, adventurous life, his passion for his writing and creating. I mean, this man, he not only writes books for kids, but he also writes for grown-ups. He writes plays. He has a screenplay that's in pre-production right now for a movie.
Wow.
He wrote me an entire song and had it professionally produced and recorded, and had our friends sing backup vocals for our anniversary. Like,
Wow.
he just is creating all the time, and he's very passionate about that. Even his cooking, he's passionate about everything that he does. He pours his passion into it, and I love that. And then the second thing I would say is his devotion. His devotion to his craft, to his business, to our relationship, to his family, to our doggy. Everything he does it with his whole heart. And that's something that is irresistible to me, as a business person and as a woman.
Wow. How about you? That's awesome. Sounds like you're a pretty amazing guy.
He is.
And you, my friend, what do you feel? You're getting to it right? Or straight?
Straight, I
Straight.
think.
Okay. And so, what do you think? What does Sheri bring to the table?
I mean, I've learned so much from her in so many ways. Sheri has also like that amazing passion, and it's different, a little bit different from mine, but it's like really genuine passion about doing good for the world and living life to its fullest. And it's well, it's interesting. She wants to like do all these great things, for herself and for our business, but she's really all about spreading the joy that she feels to everyone else, and wanting everyone to feel that same whimsy, seeing the world through her eyes, or it's just a beautiful, magical place full of so much potential. And in this like cynical, jaded world we're living in, it's just like people can't believe she exists. She's like literally a unicorn. She's a unicorn. She's a unicorn mermaid.
I love it. Well,
yeah.
Obviously now I can see more and more where you guys work so well together. So now I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and a lot of people want to build, maybe not authors, but it's a product. You're still serving people. You still have to make a living doing it. But my goal with our ThriveCourses is help people make a living doing what they want to do, whether it's author, business, selling, creating products, speaking, whatever they want to do. So what are some of the biggest takeaways?
I think for me, people always say, like, what's the secret of your success? And I would say it's relationships, because it sounds very cliche, but when you genuinely care about people, they genuinely care about what you have to say. And when you can connect with people on a heart level, and they can, from interacting with you, it ignites something within themselves to know that they're capable of more, or that they're worthy of their dreams, or even just that little thing, like they feel better about themselves from interacting with you. Huge things open up in their world, and you feel so fulfilled from doing it that it doesn't feel like it's not work. Like, it's just being a good human being. And people don't like to hear that usually. Like, what's your biggest secret? Be a good human being.
Yeah, it's like,
that's all. Just do it.
Yeah.
But it really is the secret, because when people they can feel your heart and your intentions, they want to help you too, because they know you're helping them.
Wow.
And I think that's the thing that served me the entire time that I've been in business, and I'm so grateful for all the people that I've met, like yourself, and to watch I love championing other people and cheering them on, and seeing where they develop and like the wings that they grow. It's just extraordinary, and it inspires me so much. So I would say that it's connecting with people and genuinely caring.
Beautiful. How about you, Derek?
I think for me, I guess it's just like doing the work, like never working hard. I feel like I sacrificed a lot, especially in my early days, and because the work was always so important to me. As a writer, that was it's very time-consuming, lonely work sometimes, but that was what I enjoyed doing. And I think it's like, if you find something you love, then it doesn't really feel like work to me, at least. So I like, when I was writing, I was as happy as I could be, and finishing something, it was the most incredible feeling. And I love getting down and doing the work, and if you just get out there, you do it, and you have the bravery to put it out there, the people will notice, and people will want to help you if you have a true passion for it, and people will notice that. If you're doing your own work, but you're afraid to show it to people, and then maybe the time isn't right for you. That's okay too. I think it's very important to work on your craft and become really solid about it and get as much help as you can with it. But people sense that. They sense passion, and they sense the people who put in the work behind it to get to where they are.
Yeah. I always.
All right, so now a couple of my favorite questions. I'll start with you, Sheri. What's the one person that has inspired you the most to be who you are and the things that you do today?
I probably have to say our mutual mentor, Jack Canfield. I think the mindset strategies that I've learned from him over the past, I've been reading his books for like 15 years. Even before I met him, he was my favorite author. And the things that he's taught me have really aided in my evolution and accelerated the process too. And I teach a lot of those things to people now in workshops and conferences and keynotes, and it resonates with them too. So I would say, thank goodness I have been brave and went to that conference of his and brought up that story, because who knows, I may not be having this interview today. We may never have met.
We would not know each other, because that's where we met. Yeah.
And my wonderful husband too. We met doing the thing that I love, and if I hadn't gotten in touch with that, which I attribute to Jack.
Wonderful.
So,
Before I move on to Derek, what's the one, obviously, the Success Principles? If you guys haven't read the book, it's called The Success Principles. What's the one success principle that you think has served you the most?
I would say, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Because I always wanted to help everybody, and I would say yes way too much, and then I wouldn't have time for things like fitness and sleep and all the things that you need in order to be a holistically successful, happy person. And learning that from him, if it doesn't, the way it goes, you guys, is that if it doesn't light you up, like if you don't feel like in your entire body, like, oh, this is so good, I want to do it, then it's a polite no thank you.
So this interview was hell yes.
This was a hell yes. Are you kidding me? My friend Rydas and coming to California, like doing this wonderful thing in LA. Yes, this was a hell yes. Inspiring people, all about it, all day.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So Jack Canfield, that's for you. How about you, Derek?
I'd have to say my mom. My mom was an art teacher in LA Unified School District for over 10 years in like really rough schools, but she was helping kids get into college on art scholarships who had no plans of ever going to college, and she started a LA Mural Project. But after she had me, she decided to go for her own career in art, which she never thought she'd be able to do, but she went for it and kind of did what we do, where we go out to schools and book events, and she'd go out to parks and display her art in art shows, and within several years became probably the most successful female artist of the 20th century.
Wow.
Her name is Melanie Taylor Kent. I'm Derek Taylor Kent. And so I think that's what I grew up with as a kid. Like I saw that happen, where it was all of a sudden she was a celebrity and they were running a big multi-million-dollar business out of our house.
Yeah.
So I saw like artistic drive and passion succeed. I guess that's how I always believed I could do it myself if you just put in the work.
Beautiful. And what would you say, what's the one thing that you watching your mom and all the lessons she had shared with you, what's the one thing that you kind of, that big lesson from your mother that has been serving you well throughout your life?
I think it's kind of harkens back to what Sheri said. My mom is amazing at making connections with people, and it was like she formed an enormous base of relationships of people who just loved her and loved being around her. She's like a really genuinely open and friendly like person, and ultra positive.
Yeah.
No matter what is going on in her life, she always kept like a really positive mindset and had optimism and hope for what was going to happen next. So no matter, because I went through a lot of rejection in my life with my books, acting, screenwriting, a lot of it. You have to be able to maintain the mindset that it's not, that wasn't meant to be, but then what's next will be better.
Wow.
Just keep that, what keeps you going.
That makes me smile. I noticed that throughout this interview I've been smiling a lot. My cheekbones kind of hurt. If you're listening to podcasts, you can't see that, but I'm smiling here a lot because first I genuinely love you, and now I love you too because you married Sheri. And the more I listen to you, the more I like you, so this is great. And I know we're going to be friends for a long time, so you're stuck with me too now.
Oh, yay.
So, one of the things I always say in my episodes is I'm not here to entertain, I'm here to inspire and kick your butt a little bit to take action. And regardless what you want to do, and so if I achieve that even at a small level, I feel like I'm living my life purpose, and that's the reason why we launched this show, Thrive Now. So I don't want you to thrive tomorrow, I want you to thrive now. So what's the one thing for you guys to like to share for those who have big ideas, big dreams, say the businesses, books, or play, or whatever that is, or finding love, and they sitting and watching and listening, they feel like they can do more. And what would you say? What's that thing that you would suggest for them to do, even if they feel like thriving, but they just know there's more for them?
I would say take that next step, because I think that's the hardest thing, is just accepting that I'm going for it, and like embodying that. And I think people are scared to like be all in. Just take one step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and then the universe will give you signs. Like things will happen for you. And if you have to make a course correction, you can only make that when you're moving. You've got to be moving forward. So if you want love, genuine, true, passionate, amazing love, you got to get out of the Twinkie aisle in the market. Like, right, you can't shop for like the man of your dreams if you're in the Twinkie aisle. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the Twinkies, like, they're a dime a dozen, and that's not what you're looking for. So don't waste time on things that bring you down lower than you need to be. Look for people who lift you up. Like, go the places that the people you want to meet are, whether you're in business or you're looking for a relationship or all those things. Be the person you really want to be by taking that next step, and then the right people will notice and come to you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How about you, Derek?
I agree. I have nothing else to say. Sheri likes making vision boards. I love those. I think that's something anyone can do. She takes a big board and cuts out pictures and does drawings and like puts together like her life, everything she hopes and aspires to on this board, and so she has to look at it every day. And I love. I was like, yeah, that is really great. That's like the ultimate reminder. Like if there's still things you're striving for, put it up there so it's like you're creating that vision in your head. And she also has a great journal that she does, where you actually journal every day of going out and doing good deeds for the world and doing things for yourself that are helping you achieve a life balance while achieving your dreams.
Yes.
I love that idea.
When I was dating, like I had people tell me like, oh, I can't leave my vision board
Just
up.
Straight.
Yeah, keep going straight for a long time.
I can't leave my vision board up on my wall when I have people over. And other women would say that to me, and I'm just like, you know what? Like, mine's on the wall. Like, if you're privileged enough to be in my home and you see that and you can't handle it, I want to know immediately. You know, like if a friend comes over and they make negative remarks about it, then that's something to think about.
Like,
so
that's not possible, or something like that.
Don't let other people's limitations limit you. Like, dream big and hold that vision, and it doesn't have to come true exactly as it's on the board. Don't feel intimidated by it. It's okay to want what you want. And you know what? I had a ring on my vision board, and it's been on there for, I don't know, like a year and a half maybe. And my husband saw that picture and surprised me with that ring for Valentine's Day. So there you go. There's power in sharing your dreams with others.
I think you can also, everyone can educate yourself. Like, that doesn't cost anything. If, like, whatever you're going into, like, the more you can educate yourself about it, the better. Like, don't be, everyone, taking a quick and easy route is always an option, but like it's always better if you do the work first.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the library, whether it's like reading about it, going out and talking to experts, like watching this video itself is just like you're doing the right thing. Like this is like a perfect step towards doing what you want.
Yeah, and there's no shortcuts on the path to greatness. So don't believe the hype. You got to do the work, get the education, learn from the experts. And when I've learned from people, I always look for people like writers. I want to find people who are happy and successful doing what I want to accomplish. Those are the only people I want to learn from. Because if they don't have both pieces of that puzzle, then that's not how I define success, and that's not what I want to create in my life. So check out the people who are already doing it and who love it.
So to summarize what I heard, guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'll start actually from Derek's advice, is that you got to be clear where you're going. Right? You got to be clear whether it's writing your goals, having a vision board, and have some clarity. And don't be afraid that, oh, my plans might change. No. What do you want right now? And it's okay if you change your goals. And number two, like Sheri said, take the next step. What is the next thing you can do? Like, you know, I always use the example with the show. I knew I want to do a show. I had no clue how I'm going to do it. I decided I want to do it in Tesla. I had no clue how I'm going to get a Tesla, but a couple months later, I'm in Tesla. I'm interviewing people. I'm driving around and doing. So don't worry about the how. Just get it going. Have a clarity and take the next clear step. And once you take that step, the next step will appear. So
That's
I'm
amazing.
we're gonna step out. I'm gonna show you this amazing view, and that's all for this episode. Thank you so much, guys, for being part of this show.
Thank you.
Great, I really appreciate it. And yeah, let's go check out this view. And that's all for now. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, so we've made it all the way to the top, Mulholland Drive, and look at the view, Los Angeles. Woo, woo, woo.
Los Angeles,
All the
San
way-
Fernando Valley.
So you have to climb to have a nice view. And again, thank you so much, guys, for this amazing interview.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And,
So much fun.
Yeah, so where can they follow you guys?
Oh, you can find us at whimsicalworldbooks.com. You can also visit us at my website at sherifink.com and on social media at Sheri_Fink.
And we're going to put, of course, all those links in the description.
And I'm at Derek Taylor Kent, D-E-R-E-K, Derek, on all social media platforms too.
Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. And they are making this world a better place, so go follow them. Thanks so much for following and watching this episode. If you haven't subscribed yet, go subscribe. You're crazy not to. I'm going to bring more and more amazing people. So if you want to get inspiration, motivation, and education, subscribe.